For those of you that love talking about animals, from Sci News, Triassic armored marine reptile unearthed in China. The newly described saurophargid reptile Prosaurophargus youngshiensis represents the earliest known occurrence of its clade. And now, from prehistoric to present, my name is Ethan. Welcome to Creature Guide Live Prehistoric News. And let's dive right back into the prehistoric news of the day. What is interesting about this reptile is they gave it the name Prosauria, which is what you see in a species of hadrosaur duck-billed dinosaur from the late Cretaceous period, Prosaurolophus. I know these two are not closely related. Life reconstruction of Porosophargus yagshiensis depicted in the early Triassic shallow marine environment of the Nasheng Wanan region, Hubei province, South China. These specific reptiles are not close relatives of dinosaurs. In fact, they are not even descendants of the Archosauromorph lineage. Um, Seems to be somebody put like some sort of a mosasaur depiction in the background. And back in the early Triassic, mosasaurs hadn't evolved yet, not even different species of pliosaur. So I'm not sure who that's supposed to be. It could be distinct species of ichthyosaur, possibly, since you do have different species of ichthyosaur that had a somewhat mosasaur sort of look, but they wouldn't appear until later in the Triassic, depending on when this is supposed to take place. Prosaurophargus yixiaensis lived in what is now South China during the early Triassic epoch, some 247 million years ago. So this is during the first 4 million years of the Triassic period. Several groups of reptiles invaded the marine realm in the aftermath of the end Permian mass extinction, the largest extinction event in Earth's history. And despite the massive extinction event that occurred around 251 million years ago, many different groups of reptiles, amphibians, as well as proto mammals on land, and then as well as terrestrial reptiles would have made it into the Triassic. This phenomenon was likely a result of the scarcity of marine competitors and predators caused by the extinction event and high productivity in the incipient shallow marine environment. Triassic marine reptiles, including the iconic Ichthyosauromorpha and Sauropterygiae, as well as some other smaller and lesser known groups, achieved high taxonomic and ecological diversity rapidly after their emergence in the late early Triassic and played a pivotal role in the reorganization of marine food webs following the end Permian mass extinction. So, probably what you had was for the first 10 to 15 million years, species or different types of groups were still recovering in their overall variety. But when it would come to animals such as the ichthyosaurs, which is what Ichthyosauromorpha is referring to, so these are the somewhat dolphin looking reptiles that would cling on until about 90 million years ago during the late Cretaceous period. Because Mesozoic marine reptiles represent likely several independent transitions from a terrestrial to an aquatic lifestyle, they also provide an ideal system to analyze the roles of function and constraint in determining evolutionary pathways. So let's take a look at some of the other animals that existed during the Mesozoic era. And here you have a member of the reptile family called Tanystropheus, and is a member of the Tanystrophidae lineage of marine reptiles. This animal first appeared somewhere around 235 million years ago during the late or mid Triassic. And it could reach a length of over 20 feet. And despite its length, it might have weighed only around 160 pounds. It was quite lightweight. At least 11, well, I'd say somewhere around 9 to 10 feet of the length of the animal was just its neck. It's a big debate as to whether or not this animal had the ability to swim. It's very possible, like a hippo, it might have just simply walked amongst the bottom of the river or, well, whatever part of the ocean it inhabited, considering you do not find these animals in dry sediment environments. Prosaurophargus yachianensis was approximately 1.5 meters or 5 feet in total body length. Wow, it looks huge in the picture. That's quite shocking. And was covered by a heavy dermal armor composed of osteoderms. So basically, scales like what you find in modern day crocodiles and alligators today.
I thought it looked very large in that picture.
I was going to guess at least 15 to 18 feet, if not larger. Um, but possibly being extremely heavy compared to its body size, which so far it hasn't mentioned. The ancient species belonged to Sauropsophagidae, a small group of aquatic reptiles within the large clade Sauropterygia. Sauropterygia was a diverse clade of Mesozoic marine reptiles that first appeared in the late early Triassic, and its members remained important predators in marine ecosystems until their extinction at the end of the late Cretaceous. I have heard of this family of marine reptiles. I haven't taken a deep look into them, but I definitely did not know that they survived to the end of the Cretaceous period. I actually thought that they ended up being extinct towards the end of the Triassic around 201 million years ago. So I was far off. Sauropterygia is traditionally divided into two major lineages, representing two markedly different body plans, the Plechodontiae and the Eosauropterygiae. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm more familiar with especially the placodonts. This makes a bit more sense. Okay. Sauropsophagids are a small clade of Mesozoic marine reptiles characterized by the presence of body armor comprising broadened dorsal ribs, forming a closed rib basket. Keep thinking of brisket, and a moderately to well-developed osteoderm covering. So let's take another look at some other animals. This was slightly earlier. This was just before the Permian mass extinction. Some might argue that it did survive into the Triassic, but this is a species of Archosaur. So this is a distant relative of the dinosaurs called Proterosuchus. And for the time, it was an immense Archosaur. This animal likely had a bit of a crocodile sort of lifestyle, so being both aquatic and terrestrial, or you could say semi aquatic. It could reach a length of around 11 feet or just over 3 meters, and probably weighed somewhere around 4 to 500 pounds. And this animal was distinctively a carnivore. It's very likely that where it inhabited, especially South Africa, they're well known from South Africa, late Permian sediments. It might have hunted proto mammals such as this unfortunate Lystrosaurus. If you're wondering where this picture comes from, this is from the Complete Guide to Prehistoric Life book that contains the Walking with Monsters, Walking with Dinosaurs, and Walking with Beasts animals. So this is very likely to have happened back in the day. Somebody else, we'll get back right to him. Let's go back to the article. They are known from the Middle Triassic of Europe and South China, although recent evidence suggests they could have survived as late as the late Triassic. So, oh, wait a second. Okay, this specific lineage of that group only survived into the late Triassic, so that's who I'm probably thinking of. So, and not the other Cretaceous species. Sauropsophagids are one of the reptile groups proposed as the sister group of Sauropterygians, but some recent phylogenetic analysis have suggested their placement with Sauropterygians instead, as either the sister group to Placodonts or Eosauropterygians. Hmm, That's okay. So it's still a bit of a question. Well, this is very well preserved. Wow, that is literally intact. Wow, I think most of the skeleton has been oh, well, okay. No, it hasn't. But over here, I mean, this is decent to see. A complete leg over here. And some of the upper legs.
Wait, is it the gray part or the white part?
I think it's the white part. Yeah, skeletal reconstruction with known elements highlighted in white. The partial postcranial skeleton of Prosaurophagus yixianensis was found in Yingzishan Quarry, part of the Qianglingqiang Formation in China. I've heard of this specific formation. It is early Triassic. The specimen is now housed in the Geological Museum of the Hefei University of Technology. And just to remind everybody, this is somewhere around I'd say 10 to 12 million years before the first dinosaurs have evolved, as well as different species of marine reptiles that would give rise to the ichthyosaurs, as well as different species of plesiosaurs, pliosaurs. The specimen represents the early Triassic Nuzhang fauna and originates from the upper part of the third member of the Xiaolingyang Formation. So, Procerolophus youngsiensis represents the earliest recorded occurrence of Saurus pargates. Oh, well, that's really good to hear. Extending their fossil record back by approximately 4.5 million years from the middle to the early Triassic epoch. That's really good to hear. Now let's jump over to another creature. Not you. There we go. Okay. So this is Periclyctosaurus, which is a member of the Mastodontosaurine lineage of stereospondyle amphibians. So this is a not him. This is a distant relative of today's Japanese and Chinese giant salamanders. Technically, you could say any salamander today, but bit more closely related to the giant salamanders. It's very possible there are theories that the giant Chinese and Japanese salamanders did derive from the temnospondyle amphibians. Now, this specifically, because stereospondals are a specific type of temnospondyle amphibian, first evolved somewhere around 272 million years ago during the early Permian period. So this is just after terrestrial reptiles such as, or proto-mammals, Dimetrodon would have gone extinct, and even amphibians such as Ariops. But this animal is known from different parts of Australia as well as Africa, and it could reach somewhere around 8 to 11 feet in length, and it was a behemoth. This animal could reach somewhere between 600 to, not you, 800 pounds. So for the time, okay, this animal, I believe it existed somewhere around, well, what, 250 million years ago? It was quite a behemoth. It was probably just feeding on different species of fish, unlikely going after larger prey items. And the dinosaurs hadn't evolved yet. Later temnospondals would prey on small species of dinosaurs.
It
So,
looked like you were looking at his body to figure out how long ago. Or I mean, how big he was. I thought was funny.
um, let's see. So the Prosophagus youngshiensis represents the. Oh, I already said that. Okay, Sauruspargus are thus the fourth major marine reptile lineage known from the early Triassic Nuzhang fauna, which also includes as many as 7 species of Upasuchians, one species of ichthyosauriforms, and 4 taxa representing the Sauroptergian lineage leading to Eosauroptergia. Procerophargus youngshiensis is one of the largest marine reptiles known from this ecosystem. The okay, so this is really interesting, like how it's lining up with the ichthyosauromorph. So this is before true ichthyosaurs would evolve. They don't start appearing on the scene till somewhere around 230 million years ago. And quickly afterwards, you would have had large species of ichthyosaur evolved, some reaching over 120 tons or over 60 feet in length. Now, they would venture later into the Triassic, but you still had 20 footers appearing like 220 million years ago.
Wait, is it an ichthyosaur that was put out on the short?
Yes.
How big was that one?
That's a much smaller species. So that is Ophthalmosaurus, which is from England around 165 million years ago. Reached somewhere around 13 feet in length, yet still possibly could have reached over 2,000 pounds. So for its overall length, it's not a small animal. Um, but that is a late Jurassic ichthyosaur. Quite common though. So let's see. The presence in the Nazhong fauna of several predatory reptiles representing a broad range of body sizes from 0.25 to 4 meters or zero point 0.8 to 13 feet in length, and displaying various ecomorphological adaptations supports the view of a rapid diversification of predators in the immediate aftermath of the end Permian mass extinction and high predation pressure in shallow marine ecosystems in the early Triassic. Yeah, that is interesting. Like, um, despite the mass extinction of the Permian, And when you look at different groups of animals that would become a variety of different types of predators specifically, it's like the early and mid Triassic were a haven for different species of predators, which is quite interesting. The herbivores don't seem to have as like anywhere as much variety until later in the Triassic and then once the early Jurassic hits. So let's head back to the last animal. So this is a very distant relative of today's crocodilians, as well as even the gharials that you find over in India. This is Teleosaurus. And I believe this is also Crystal. Yes, this is also Crystal Palace Park. This animal was semi-aquatic, or very likely,
Wait, where is this?
in London. So, specifically Crystal Palace Park. Teleosaurus could reach somewhere around 8 feet in length, possibly a bit larger, and was very lightweight for its body size. Probably also reaching somewhere between 100 to 200 pounds. But due to its very fragile skull, it probably was just feeding on certain smaller species of fish. Now, it is. Oh, it's somebody else. I got confused. No, 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 it is. No, 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 no. This is a Metroring. Oh, okay. I I was forgetting that this animal appeared much later. So, Teleosaurus evolved somewhere around. This is him down here. 185 million years ago during the early Jurassic. So this is far after the other different species of reptiles, amphibians that we were talking about. And I don't it's not necessarily a member of the Metriorhynchid lineage of reptiles, but it is a close relative. So you have in quote sea crocodiles such as Metriorhynchus that existed somewhere around 165 million years ago during the Jurassic, probably about 11 feet in length, but much heavier compared to its body size. Then you have Gaosaurus, which is heavier than Teleosaurus, but not as bulky as Metriorhynchus. And I believe okay, so this is an authentic Teleosaurus skeleton. So this is very well preserved. Like the skull is fully intact. And it is a member of the crocodilomorph family. So it is distantly related to like the different terrestrial reptilians or
So it's
crocodilomorphs.
not an archosauromorph.
No, it is. The crocodilomorphs are members of the archosauromorph family. So let me know in the comments what your favorite species of reptile is. And from prehistoric to present, my name is Ethan. This is Creature Guide Live Daily News. Remember to like, comment, subscribe if you love talking about animals, and share this show with everyone you know, because nothing is better than all animals all the time.